Welcome back to Captain of the Industry Update 2, where our custom map of Paris has improved again by a lot. And again, we have spent a couple of years to get there. As you can see, actually, I have deleted now the old bus over here and all of the productions that used to be there, except one. We still have these old arc furnaces for the poly. That's the last one over here, but everything else has been deleted. And now we're using our new bus. Some of it is paused because I'm not really using it right now. For example, over here, the household appliances or the computers, I built a reserve and this is completely full. And so after this, I stop them for now. Similarly, over here, we have the servers, the data centers, we created them. And that's one of the things we're going to talk in this episode. There's a few other things, but of course, before we dive in, don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you want to see the full playlist. So those servers, what are they going to help us do? Well, if you remember, we have started to use new resources on top of electricity, which is the teraflops. I have right now, for example, a max production of 148. I'm using 64 at this moment, right? And in the past, we've been using those mainframes computer. These were giving 8 teraflops, but using 2 megawatts each and 12 people each. And on top of this, also 15 maintenance level 2, the gold one. Instead, now we're gonna move into the data centers. All right, so the data centers, you can find them, where are they? I forgot, sorry. Where are you? Here it is, in the general machines. So you have the data centers, they cost 120, a purple one, construction part level 4, 3 electronics level 3, we're gonna need 40. And then this is also new resources, chilled water. We're gonna need chilled water, and you need those servers that I just showed you over here that you add to the mainframe, so to the data center. So the data center, when you build it like this, actually, oops, I didn't really want to build one, to be honest, over here, but anyway, that is already delivering, is fine. So when you build one, it is not going to give you any teraflops. It will start to give you teraflops when you put some servers into it. So as you can see again, right now it's nothing. It's not costing electricity. It is costing just a bit of maintenance, and we're talking about maintenance level 3 in this case, but it's not providing teraflops. As soon as I add some servers, so adding 1 rack of server is gonna cost 25 server, and this is going to give me 2 teraflops. This is costing only 40 kilowatts. And 2 teraflops. It doesn't increase the number of workers, so that's really cool, but that's only 2. So obviously you're gonna want to put more, right? And then the maximum in one of these buildings, you can put 48. So with 48, obviously that's going to give you double this amount of teraflops. So we're talking about 96 teraflops, so almost 100 teraflops, right, with one thing like this. And so the really cool thing with this is only going to be 6 people for almost 100 teraflop versus this was already 12 for just 8. So imagine, if you wanted 100, you're talking about a lot of people. And on top of this also energy, right? Because this one over here, this was again only for 8 teraflops, 2 megawatts. So for 100 teraflops, it's a lot. Versus here, it's not gonna be a lot at all. You do require this chill water, as I mentioned, but it's not a lot. For 1, it's 0.6. For 48, it's 24. So that's actually something, I have paused all of these because I have built some of these over here. We have a lake there next to our reactors. I felt that made sense. It's like we're using the water, we're using potentially the energy of this for our data centers. So I have one that is full, 48, and one that is half full, 26. And as you can see, as I was saying, when it's full, it's 96, and it's only, it's less than 2 megawatts. So it's less than one of those mainframes. and 6 people. And similarly over here, obviously this is a lot less. So what's great with this is also really scalable, right? Right now we don't really need more, but in the future, you know, I've placed everything for 4, including the chill water production. This is what you can see over here. It's a new building, the water chiller. Again, doesn't cost a lot, only 3 people and 800 kilowatt. It's gonna take normal water and create this chill water, 24 for 1, so it's 1 to 1. It does, you know, then transform this chill water into normal water, so you have this output of water, and therefore, as always, you need, of course, a pipe balancer to make sure that we use this water before using any water that we would be creating over here with one of these thermal desalinator, 1 boiler electric, 1 seawater pump, and 1 liquid dump for the brine. So that's what we have over here. Data center servers, that's definitely a lot better than the mainframes, right? But at the beginning, first of all, you only have the mainframes, plus to have those data centers, you need to actually create those servers, and you know, it costs quite a bit of electronics level 3, 7.5 to make 6 servers. And remember, you're gonna need quite a lot, right? Because this is 25 for each of the racks, and you want 48 racks in one. So yeah, you're gonna need quite a bit of this. And also the servers can only be made in those assembly robotics, which consume teraflops. So for sure, you need to first make the mainframes, and then when you have enough mainframes, you can start making the servers and then transition. Now that we've done this, let me delete all of these. We don't need them anymore. So that's gonna give me some resources back. Great. Speaking about resource back, I have also done a couple of other small changes to the city. First of all, there is the glass production over here. You may remember before it was quite ugly. It was a lot longer than all of these over there. Now it is perfectly, you know, aligned. Over here, you can see this is the same line, and it just goes a bit further than the other ones. We have moved the glass mix production, which used to be at the bottom on the side, and it works quite well. So that was a small change. I will, of course, you know, put on my Discord community also the blueprint for that one. It's over here, the glass level 3 bis instead of the glass level 3. I can actually show you next to each other. You know, this was the old one. I can put it over here. So it was actually, you know, longer and a lot less sort of compact. So that's what we've done, and we have also done the same for the concrete. The concrete mixer, this used to be the one over here. We had actually, I think, 10 of concrete mixer level 2. Now we have concrete mixer level 3, each of them producing 48, so that's definitely a lot. And they're connected directly to our cement production. All right, the cement production is over here. This is going directly there. We add a bit of sand, gravel, and water. Actually, in the past, we were using slag crushed. Now I moved to gravel. Why? Well, because gravel, you know, is made out of rock, and rock is something that is, you know, unlimited on the map. Let's go back on the map. Which one is it? This one? Yeah. The rock is the only mine on the map that is unlimited. So we're going to use this one. It goes over here. We have some rocks. Then it goes into the crusher. 144 is exactly what we need, right? 36 times 4, that's 144. So we have this reserve over here. You know, I can put that off and off. We don't really need to be able to give it. Then we have the water and the sand, right? They go into all of this to make the concrete slab. So we have the gravel at level 0. We have at level 1 the sand, level 2 the cement, and level 3 the water. And then on the outside we're making all of this concrete to go into this unit storage, which I haven't connected yet to the main base because I have this that's on the way. This whole you know, factory over here, this was our ultimate diesel. It actually isn't gonna be our ultimate one. We're gonna destroy it and make a new one. Why? Well, for a couple of reasons. The first one is it's not where I want it to be. Pure and simple, I don't want it over here, I want it somewhere else. But more importantly, you know, this was optimized to do a couple of things. This was optimized to actually use as little coal as possible when we were still using coal by burning some of the naphtha and hydrogen to make, the steam. Then the second thing is it was optimized to also make cement out of this hydrogen, but that was before, all of this was before we have this cement production there. So that is why the cement production that used to be over here has been deleted, right? And again, also this, we don't really need to burn the hydrogen or the naphtha anymore because we have ton of electricity, so it's best to just use pure boiler electrics. And so I'm going to revamp this to do something different. The idea instead is going to be to make as much of the other product that we need. So things like the rubber, things like the plastic, we're going to want to make even more to go into the bus. I have actually created it over here. You can see it is even more compact. We're still talking about 8 lines, but everything is really compact, a nice rectangle. And we are making a lot more of the rubber. We're making more plastic too. And of course, a couple of other things like the sulfur, the acid, and the graphite. All of these will go into our bus. Where are we going to put it? Well, that's a surprise, I think, for the next episode. We have next to it also small change over here. We have more of those farms, more of those greenhouses for the sugarcane. To be more precise, these two over here weren't there before. They used to be over here, right? You may remember these were the two, and actually we have this small piece over here that's still left. Let's delete it. This was the two that were actually used for the sugar production of food, for cakes basically, to be precise. This has now been deleted, moved into here, where we had already sugarcane that was for medication. So the reason I did this is now we have only one belt for sugarcane that's going over here, right? Is this belt there. Before we had two, now we have only one, so it's more efficient. I still haven't cleaned completely over here. I mean, it's working perfectly. It's just not the most, aesthetically pleasing, let's say. We could do a bit better, but yeah, this is still working. This is still there, so that's not the problem. Continuing on this piece over here, you hopefully see big changes. First of all, we don't have tons of depleted uranium. We used to have a lot of depleted uranium reserves. Now they are gone. Now they are not actually completely gone, to be honest. I didn't throw them in the ocean, for example. I actually put them over here. This is this small mountain over here that was all, it's crazy actually to think about it. I think it was like, how much was it? I think it was probably those loose storage level 3. Actually, we can check because there's one left. If it's level 3 or level 4. No, it's level 3. So we're talking about 2,000 for each, right? I think there was at least 15 of them. So we're talking about 30,000 depleted uranium or so. And you can see it actually doesn't take that much space. It's a small mountain. You do as always, you put one mine control tower and you say the only thing that can be dumped there is depleted uranium, and then you create a small mountain. So yeah, this is actually a lot, more than 30,000, but it doesn't look like much, especially when you compare to those mountains over here, the Camper mountain, and this was a soil mountain, which I've started to also not delete, but use. Especially we used it a lot over here recently, right, to make sure that all of this was firmable soil. But yeah, anyway, all of this depleted uranium that used to be there is gone. Why is it gone? Well, I needed the space because we built this new thing over here and this new thing over there. What is it for? It is to start, or to basically to start stopping using this factory. What do I mean by this? Well, we have stopped the uranium boat. There is a lot of uranium on the map still. And if you look over here, we still have almost 90,000 in this one, which will be many years, and we still have this uranium mine there that's not even touched. So we still have a lot of uranium on the map, but I wanted to stop using it. And so that's what we've done. This is stopped. So this is empty, we can start deleting it. And therefore, all of this over here has stopped. This has stopped. Therefore, all of this has stopped. And here I see a small problem, which is that I forgot to reconnect this here. Sorry, my bad. It is not a big thing, but still we want to do it to make sure that this continue working. So anyway, you know, basically the basic production of uranium into enriched uranium has stopped. We still have some reserves of uranium rods, but this is slowly but surely decreasing. You know, we used to have tons of reserves. Now in the few years since the last episode, this is starting to decrease. And therefore, you know, also in a couple of years, the idea is in a couple of years, this can completely stop. You know, we can stop these whole nuclear reactors over here, and then we could start deleting it. The problem is to be able to really retire this factory, this nuclear reactor, we need to deal with the waste. We have two types of waste. The spent fuel, that's easy, we're transforming the spent fuel, still we're doing it, you know, that's not a problem, into plutonium and fission product. The plutonium goes back over here, and that is why I said we need to make sure, you know, to take care of, no, actually, sorry, the plutonium goes where? Over here, and with some depleted uranium, which is why I still have one over here. It's making MOX rod, and the MOX rod are going back into it. Right, so that's fine. That is why this one is basically empty and will stay empty. The problem is more that we have some red one, some spent MOX. To be more precise, when I started, you know, to do this decommission, we had 3 radioactive waste storage of spent MOX. This one over here, this one over there, and that one over there, which was also almost full at that time. Now, you can see it is not full anymore. It is starting to go down. It's gonna take a while, but we're gonna basically make all 3 of these empty by using the spent MOX. This is this belt you can see over here. We're sending the spent MOX all the way over here into this nuclear reprocessing plant, where with a bit of acid, molten glass, and salt, we're making blanket fuel and fission product. Fission products, that's easy. Remember, that goes, you know, into this waste storage, but after 100 years, it becomes, you know, retired waste, and we can destroy it into this shredder, into recyclable. So this is not a problem, you know, the fission product. What is the problem with the blanket fuel? The only thing you can do with blanket fuel is to put into a fast breeder reactor. This is this one over here, right? The enrichment to transform into blanket fuel enrich, and then this enrich is going to be, you know, in the enrichment plant is going to make some core fuel and a bit less of blanket fuel. So this is where this reaction, you know, is important. Is we're taking 15 and we're only making 12. So each time we're doing this, we're basically losing a bit of blanket fuel. And this is why slowly but surely we need to remake new one and therefore use our spent MOX. Obviously, that means we need to use the core fuel, which is why we have a fast breeder reactor over here. It is basically, I mean, the same as the one we had built over here. Don't hesitate to check in the previous episode if you missed it. Right, we have a fast breeder reactor, we have this line there. So obviously now I've paused it all, you know, this fast breeder reactor is not working right now because we're using for now this one. This is the same exact line, this is the same inputs, right? We're taking a bit of water over here, etc. We have to dump water into the water because we're making more. And yeah, slowly but surely, as I said, with this, we're going to be able to use all of our spent MOX. And when it's done, we can really delete it all. But as I said, the key thing is that now we have finished this. So, you know, I can delete that. Can delete all of this. We can also delete this for sure. This is fine. This one we don't need either. We can delete this. We need to keep that, at least 2 of them for now. Right, we need to keep this. I think we need to not keep that. That's fine, we don't need that. We do need to keep this one, because that's making, you know, the hydrogen fluoride that is necessary over here. And so we need to, do we need to keep, yeah, we need to keep the acid. So we keep that, okay. So yeah, I think everything else over here we can keep for now. We're gonna keep this until we have any MOX level, uranium rod. We need to keep this to transform the spent fuel into plutonium. But once that's done, we can delete this one. And yeah, with this, we're continuing to make quite a lot of electricity, basically for free. So really happy with that. We have no cargo depot, yeah, but because I said delete this thing. Okay, good. That will give us also one boat that we can use for something else if needed. So I'm happy we're starting, to make this, to decommission this one, so that in the future we can really rely only on that one forever. Now, because I'm deleting all of this, I have a lot of trucks that need to go there. So we are very busy. But in general, we are actually not very busy. And it is thanks to a couple of other changes I have made over here to reduce the transport. Why reducing transport? Well, first is to reduce our diesel consumption, and two is also to reduce our pollution, right? The pollution from those vehicles. So what do I mean by, doing this is basically a couple of the resources I've started to belt from where they're coming from to the bus. The first one was already in the last episode over here. The iron ore crush was going directly into this. Now, this is not, by the way, final, right? This is looking very ugly. We will make it pretty very soon, but it was temporary to make sure we have a lot less truck. So the first one, as I said, was the iron crushed, but now we have two other key ones. And by the way, to know which one to focus on, you click on your trucks over here, you can go into analytics and you can see which jobs, right, which one are using a lot. So for example, the next one I should do is probably the copper, which makes sense because, the copper, we are getting our copper from over here, it goes there, and then these trucks over there are transporting all the way to the end here. So of course, this is indeed not a great thing. We should belt it. But before, it was even worse for two resources. One was the limestone, right? We needed to transport limestone from here to there. It wasn't too bad, but still that was already something we could automate easily. And more importantly, we're using limestone for many of the production. So that's what you can see over here. The belt is going in the back there to make sure it doesn't sort of disturb too many of the trucks. And then it crosses over here where we have a bridge, and it goes on both sides. On this side over here, this is for the glass mix, right? We have it there. And then on the other side, it is for the iron there, but also for the steel over here, right? We also need limestone. So that was the first one. And then the second one was pretty similar, was next door, right? It was a coal over here. We were using coal already belted for the cement, but not for everything else. So that is why, I've belted it over here next to. And again, this is temporary, so that's why I made it quick and dirty. Goes over here, this side, and under the same bridge. And again, it will go actually on that side. It's not really needed for the glass, but it's needed for all the other ones, for the iron, for the steel, and even for the copper, right? So that goes all the way. You can see it over here. And then last but not least, so I'm not 100% sure it's the last, but let's check. The other one that you can see over here is at level 3, my slag. It used to be, that each of those blocks, you had one of these loose storage for slag, and then trucks would pick it up and deliver it somewhere. Now we have one belt from the start over here. It starts there and it goes all the way. You can see it continues. Now we've reached already the iron, right? Continues. Now we've reached, no, sorry, my bad. So anyway, this was there, the iron. So here it was the steel, but it goes all the way, even to the copper, right? And then it goes into this one. And then the reason I put it over here is because trucks are taking it from here, and as you can see, they're delivering there to try to finish. I mean, I say finish, maybe I'm gonna change my mind in the future, but I think it could be the end of our island. Now I'm gonna make it a square there. We have still one place for a boat there. Then we're gonna have at least space for 2 on this side, right? For example, I can put probably even 3, like 1 here, 1 around here, and 1 around there. So that should definitely be enough. That should definitely be enough. So yeah, that was the next one, really belting. We do have, I think so far it's fine with 1 belt. I haven't calculated it, to be honest. But given that we're also using a lot of the scraps with edX recycling 90%, I'm pretty sure, you know, we're fine. We're not creating that much slag, to be honest. Oh no, sorry, that is not the last one. The last one was water. I created a small water production over here. I say small because, again, you know, it's only 2 of these, so we're talking about basically 150 because we have 1 of this boiler, right? But the idea is it's belted. It's belted, right? It goes here, it goes over here to the next one, right? The next one, so it's belted again, so we don't need to transport water everywhere. Did I? Yeah, those ones shouldn't do this. So that is working pretty well. Again, this is working well. We don't have any complaints. This is working well. This one, as I said, we're gonna need to delete. We're gonna delete. So what do you think we're gonna put here? Well, spoiler alert, this is something that we're going to use on both sides, right? Over here, what resource do we need there? And what resource do we need there? And then hopefully you understand what we're gonna put here. Do tell me in the comments below what you think we're gonna put here. And then I know you're probably very excited to talk about the bus, which, as I said, now is working pretty well. You know, he has completely replaced the old one. But I think we're gonna dedicate the next episode fully to it, because I think also by the next episode we will have completed it. Right now it's not complete. There's still many things that are not been built, and also I've only built 1 lane and I want to build a 2nd lane. You'll see what I mean in the next episode. Smash the like button and I hope to see you next time.